of game therapy. My name is Joe Bomb Squad, and we're here to take you on a little journey we like to call triggers. What triggers emotions? What triggers anger? What triggers patterns in ourselves? To do the same things over and over again, expecting different results. It's not crazy, people. It's the human genome. It's never crazy. It's never actually crazy, but people put names on it, and we're gonna see if we can try to dispel some of those rumors about some of the stuff that people practice in psychotherapy to this day. Back in the day, it was probably easier for people to understand things as emotions and triggers and a whole bunch of different stuff like that, but you have to understand that triggers themselves are stupid to call them triggers. Emotional what's the word? Emotional activations, okay? Emotional activations are what we might call the reason they trigger those sorts of behaviors sometimes is because of what people say and what people do to actually associate things with psychotherapy. And we're gonna get to it just in a hot second. We're gonna talk about triggers. But first, we're gonna go to the military base, and we're gonna see if we can jump in this truck. We can jump right into the military base with this truck. That's what we're gonna do. All right. All right. That's a terrible thing. All right. So. Alright, now that we've calmed down for a second and realized that we're on the freeway, going around different things in this game, because it is a game, it's just a game, so you have to dispel yourself and what's the word, disassociate yourself with thoughts like, guys, I'm gonna go like run up and rob a bank and you know, it's gonna be great, and then sit down for 5 hours and play GTA on a binge because it's stupid, and it actually gives you sort of reflexes that are probably prone to, what's the word? Thanks, Robin. Oh, he's killed us. Definitely killed him, but we ran them over. It's fine. But, alright, so we're gonna try to see if we can get a new car, because this is not going as fast anymore, and we're going to talk about triggers. Emotional conduitive thoughts.
Person resisting arrest on Prosperity Street.
Fucking hell, no one can hang out. Shit, did I just hit that guy? Is that a guy? Alright, get down, guys. Alright, get down. Oh, man. Okay, so emotional triggers. Okay. Or like, is the way they like to call them. It's more in layman's terms, because they think as though people would like to think that there are emotional triggers, like they trigger like a cool thing about you. Like, it's like, oh, if you say something like, where's the bacon, then someone will start acting like a pig. No, that's not really what happens, because if that were to happen, then people would have had to have gone through some pretty bad emotional stress in order for that to actually happen. Oh, you bastards. You bastards. And we're gonna get the red card. Wait, hold on. We're gonna tell you. Wait. All right, we're gonna haggle. You run away. I didn't want to haggle. All right, cool. All right, now we have a cool car. We're gonna go because emotional triggers. Okay, they're based upon what you see in every day, what you like, what you don't like, stuff like that. It's based upon what we like and what we don't like. And when we get angry and we bury those feelings down, there can be some big changes and some big, what's the word? Some big hurt on people, and because of those triggers, or because of those emotional, I still lost the word again. Oh, okay. Because of those emotional conduits, basically, kind of like it's like, think about it like this. A synapse fires in your head when you like something. When you like something, you see something, and when you do something. Like, when you do something that's fun, you associate it with that. You associate it with the thing that you like, you saw first. Okay? Too much of that can kind of overstimulate certain parts of the brain. And when you overstimulate certain parts of the brain, it doesn't turn into mush. It just turns into like into more of a reflex. Okay, so if you were good at science, or if your family is good at science, or if your dad was like a super engineer or something like that, then I guess you'd find that there's a lot of things that people don't understand about the way people act and how people act, and sometimes they're trying to protect you from emotions when in actuality they're projecting a similar emotion to what they had done to them. It really sucks, but it's something that we all have to live with, and realize that there's more to life than just making remarks. You know, I mean, like we all have to get through some sort of emotional pain, I guess, and the more we put onto it, the more we try to ignore it, the harder it is sometimes for people to see how it affects us, you know, and that can lead to chemical imbalances in the brain. And I guess that's probably why I don't understand sometimes that my parents kind of were trying to protect me from their emotional hurt with each other, and the fact that they did love each other a long time ago, but not the fact that it never stuck, but they both had differentiating opinions about things. And I just ran out of the goddamn car through the window. All right, we're gonna use this blue car now.
Come on, my dear. Walk
And
fine.
see, when people do things in certain patterns, or say things in certain patterns, what people don't understand is there's a trigger that can, or for lack of a better term, a trigger that that can make people believe something is wrong with them, or something is wrong with everyone around them, and they can make like just wild accusations because of the hurt that they've received. So it's really effectual. Okay, we're gonna turn off the radio because they disagree, or we'll go to Soul Wax. Wait, not the Texas Long Ranger. That's weird. Okay, all right. So, when people talk about what triggers them, or what really irks their nerves, or what really grinds their gears, is like, it's like they just, sometimes they don't even understand what got them the way they were, and all they can hate is the action then, because they think somehow it affects them. And in some ways it can, in some ways it can't, because I mean, people are just people are just really, people can be insensitive sometimes, very much so. But what people have to understand is that things aren't happening the same way that people actually thought they were a long time ago. And people have grown resistant to certain different therapies because they've just wanted to clear their head, and sometimes that's all you really need to do. Like, to get rid of those stupid triggers, those dumb things that people don't want to think about or say. They just want to act like nothing affects them, or they find it interesting when they mess with people. Like, say for instance, people who aren't licensed therapists, they like to say things like, I like to mess with people, and then see where they go with it. That sort of thing, like in confidence or that kind of stuff. Those people are considered very hazardous to themselves and other people, seeing as how they want to, like, I mean, and these aren't people that I've seen so far. It's just people that I've met along my I'd say adventures. All right. So adventures, meaning like things that I've done on this planet and Earth, and people I've met so far sometimes can be insensitive to other people's needs or other people's wants, and they think they know what they went through. They think they know how they went through it, and sometimes people are trying to make them see that the emotional hurt isn't that hard, but it takes time for people to understand exactly how that emotional hurt got them, where that emotional hurt went to, and inside of themselves, because it can make a physical mark on your body if you allow stress to actually keep you going. And people think that I allow stress into my life constantly, and I don't. I don't allow stress into anything in my life. I actually try to build up a resistance to stress by trying to make jokes all the time, and it may seem a bit off-putting sometimes, but that's the way that I deal. It's the way that I cope with stress, because stress is a very harsh mistress. It can deal final blows to you in your life and in your emotions. But if you treat it well, if you realize stress is just literally a vibration you made in your own skull, and you realize where it's supposed to go, then it doesn't cause like stupid shit to happen or make you hurt yourself. And I'm not a trained professional, so I don't know how things are in the medical field or anything like that, but I also know that eventually those stress bubbles or stress conduits, I guess, can sometimes break, and it can really hurt. Like, that's the reason why sometimes when you put all your eggs in one basket and you try to see someone for who they really are, and they wind up being a complete douchebag, and you're not too sure if you could ever trust someone like that ever again. Realize that it's not all gimmicks. It's not all fun and games, but also know that I'm gonna jump this hill right here, because sometimes it is, or I'm gonna run into that tree, either one. All right, we're gonna see if we can jump over a hill. So. And yes, when I'm getting too serious, I like to make a stupid joke or something like that. So, alright, jump in the hill. Yeah! We didn't do a good job of that. We're going to slide down and then try to land on our 4 wheels. Didn't work. Eventually, yes. Awesome. It worked eventually. Woo! So, what you have to think about with triggers and the way that they say them and how offensive and weird they can act and stuff like that. And no, it's not like you're defending anyone. It's like you defend. It's like sometimes I feel as though I'm defending therapy, and I know it's douchey to do because I mean everyone's going through their own little emotional, like, what's the word? Emotional upheavals, you know. And I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with the way that I feel versus the way that other people feel, but I do try to get rid of bullies in my life, and I also try to let them understand that that eventually things don't turn out good for them, and it's hard for me to understand what exactly is going to happen because I'm left in the dark so often, and it's because I guess people don't share things with me because they think I'm like, ooh, he's very angry and he's hungry all the time, and no, it's just me not trying to cope. It's because I'm actually hungry, so I eat when I'm hungry usually. So alright, we're gonna go up, and I said we're going to the military base. I didn't see to say in what car. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. I'm ready to go.
This is a no-fly zone. Divert your course.
We are engaging the suspect from the air.
All right.
Suspect doing 90 miles per hour on Prospect Drive.
Son of a bitch. That is not what happens to a friggin' telephone pole when it gets hit by a jet. This game's physics is terrible. See, that's another trigger right there. We're gonna talk about that. I was calm when I was flying, and I'm sure I have. Oh, look at the time, the amount of viewers I have, which is 0. That's really great. I'm really happy with that number and stuff. That's another trigger right there. See triggers popping up everywhere for me. But unfortunately, when you call them triggers, you can actually like mess up your brain and make them think that things trigger you and things like match up when people say things. And yeah, it's actually called emotional and logical synchronization. What? Yeah, there's no other person here. I just act like I'm hearing other voices. It's really fun to me because they called me schizoaffective, and now I'm playing Mondo jokes on them. Yes. So, all right. Yes, it's called emotional and logical synchronization. It can make you think that things are happening for a reason, and people think that there is a thing that's happening. It's because the way that song made me feel, man. That felt that emotion, man. That emotion that never goes anywhere. That's basically what people understand is that their rhythm actually is tied to that song sometimes, because it's like when you say that Katy Perry is terrible at making songs, she's not really terrible because it's technically true. It all has to do with heart rhythmitation, which controls your blood and pretty much every kind of nervous system receiving all of its signals. So when you have that song in your head or something like that, you'll be matched up with your logical thinking of that certain pattern. So right now, what I am mixed up with is I I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, or I Kissed a Girl by what's the word? Katy Perry. And all right, so we're gonna go back to what triggers are and how triggers affect us, or emotional conduits that what's the word? Oh, actually, yes, because conduit means tied to something. So conduit means tied to something. So because in those other things you hear about, like, oh, I'll be a conduit for whatever, like an ambassador. Basically, think of it as an ambassador, all right? It's not a real ambassador, it's a fake ambassador, because it's not something that's pretty much tied to you. But imagine that ambassador to be a song. That ambassador goes to your brain and can actually affect the way that your synapses fire. So that's what happens when people go off the deep end, is they're constantly thinking about one song, and they're constantly thinking about that one song that happened, or that one girl that got away, and no, it's not all about that. It's never going to be all about that one person, because there's other stuff in life. There's other things in life that you have to focus on. Not have to focus on, but that you should focus on, just to not actually go to one thing every single time. And we're going to go back to the military base. What do you think? What do you think? If I get a comment within the next 5 minutes, then no one's watching, and who cares? Alright, we're just doing this for me. This is called game therapy, if you're just joining me in this video, or if you went to the bathroom while watching it after I recorded it. So, and we're not going to steal these helicopters. We're going to leave, because, yes, the tank is coming. Oh, this is a good game. Here we go. We're going to see how many... Alright, this sucks. Alright, we're going to see how many tank bullets we can dodge. Where's the tank? There's the tank. Alright, where's the tank at? And that's up. Alright, they ran into us, thinking that they were going to win, but they wouldn't win. Their effort would be for
white performance car.
Alright, is that it? Yeah, that's it. Guys, we gotta go. Alright. Alright. And I'm gonna keep going, because they didn't ruin my car. It's not on fire. I'm gonna jump in the swamps and get this car out of the fire, because I'm gonna bring it to the repairman shop, and I'm gonna get out right now because it's still on fire and I'm on fire. God dang it. Alright. Seeing as how I have no viewers and still on this live stream, we're gonna understand that YouTube is didn't you realize they lost all their no, they didn't lose all their sponsors. They backed out their money, and they can redo it anytime they want to. They're just waiting for all the assholes to leave it, because they're not going to allow those assholes on there anymore. So that's what's happening. So I'm sticking with YouTube for right now. So there we go. And yes, that's right. I do smoke cigarettes. What of it? Don't fight me about it, because taking this car, yeah. We're not going to the military base right now. We're gonna see if we can take a scenic route across a country road. A country road that we can do flips off of and not worry about any of these people here.
Citizens report.
Alright, into the car.
Dorset Drive.
Alright, so emotional triggers, what can cause them. I like to say that people basically cause them on their own, but sometimes people can get irked because of like certain different things that happen in their lives, or certain things that they shut their brain off to sometimes. And when you start kind of shut your brain off to things, you like it's like you're constantly it's like you're driving away from yourself basically. Sometimes it's like when you think we dream, basically, kind of thinking like that. I can go anywhere. It's like, no, you basically just go into another part of your body. Like you're basically putting a brain, and that's like for another time, but that's when you get into like I can actually control my body, and I'm older and I know what to do with myself, sort of thing. So I mean, and I'm only 30, you know, I have so much left to go, so much, so many times, so many yards.
Officers report a reckless driver on Boulevard Del Perro.
So many años.
Del Perro.
We'll go back to this, and then understand that. Oh yeah. Yes.
Suspect last seen in a blue sports car.
All right. So, this is what we're gonna do. Yes. This is in the country road, but we're gonna see if we can land in the parking lot. Oh man, and we kind of did, but it's still not good enough. Safety first, guys. I gotta put my helmet on first. Jeez. Gotta keep on going. Keep on trucking.
Dispatch, we have a visual.
Oh, that's awesome. There's a curb there. Smart curb. I don't even like this video game anymore. No, I do. I like it. It's really good. It's a fun game. Because it's people who made a stupid game that lets everyone realize that yes, this is what while other people were doing concerts and stuff like that, and there were stupid people trying to create dumb things, and that's basically okay, we're going to talk about that in another episode. So, but triggers, okay, like when your car gets stolen. No, not stolen. It's like when your car gets like, when you get a parking ticket or something like that, you know. You're like, shit, I got a parking ticket for $600 during Mardi Gras. Literally every single cent I made on Mardi Gras day went to that. Luckily, I worked at a tip-only job, so it was really good, and taxes will probably be going down my doorstep because...
Suspect doing 50 miles per hour.
All right, we're good. We're fine.
Graphite muscle car.
So... talking about triggers and what it means to everyone else. I've learned over the course of my tenure in psychology, as far as people diagnosing me, it means absolutely nothing. And people don't know what kind of medication sometimes to actually get with people. They have to let it see and let it check, because it runs through your blood system or your system for a really long time. And no, I'm not talking about just systems or like things like that. It runs through people's bodies so much, and sometimes, like, I really don't think lithium should ever be on the market. I really don't think so. I really do not think that lithium should have ever been put on the market as a drug to take. I'm not exactly sure why it was put on the market, because people just wanted to feel alone, I guess. and their entire lives, because that's what lithium does to you. Makes you feel alone about everything. So, basically, I think Pirates of the Caribbean was an allegory for people taking their own medication. Or at least I just associated with one thing they said. But, nothing ever good enough. No one ever satisfied. Nothing. Or taste. Or smell. Oh God. No, it's just you guys decided you didn't want it because you were on a ship for so long. There we go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Yeah, we didn't do it. Okay. So, back to emotional triggers. Or emotional conduits, because, yeah, I'm gonna call it emotional conduits, because it makes you, feel as though that something or someone is affecting, like, you get the stomachs, you get the like, because it's like, okay, it's like, you ever realize that you have the bubbles in your stomach or something like that? That's what happens when you start to realize that that you think that nothing can make you go like wow emotionally, or wow at all, because you've been entertained for so long, and you're like, well, I'm done with that series. Well, I wonder if there's any more, and then you gotta look for stuff, and then you're like, I mean, it's like trying to,
Jesus!
it's like trying to make something that you know won't work. Like trying to make something that you know won't work just to cover up the things that you did before. And
the chilliest mountain state wilderness.
And even though some people might have the wrong idea about what people actually think or say, and also too, because therapists are known not peeping toms, but life invaders, basically. Because this is an allegory for California. This is an allegory for California. This game is a complete and utter allegory for California. And it's so great to me, because this is what everyone thinks they think California is. And sometimes it is, but other times it really isn't. Because people can say that people are stupid because they use slang or dumb stuff, or, oh, that's dumb because you're being dumb. It's like, no, it's a term that I like to use. Like, say for instance, I wanted to use a term oh, dude, that's so tight. Like, no, it's not like tight butthole, like the workaholics like to think it is, because that's why their show got canceled. Literally the only reason why their show got canceled. So, in my own opinion. Every other reference that they used was completely okay, except for the mushrooms episode, probably. So,
Dispatch, we've got eyes on target.
There you are!
Okay, let's see here.
Inbred dickwad! Uh-oh, I don't see it. Don't make me kill you, asshole! Enough of you!
Got him. Shit. There's another one. Alright. So, knowing that those triggers, or those conduits can affect you in so many different ways, because you're basically, it's like imagine, not imagine your spirit, or imagine like you put importance on this one object for so long, and you see it grow. It's like a tree, okay? You see it grow, and you're like, wow, I want it to grow more because I want to be able to have space, and I want it to get more sun. You know, that's awesome. But sometimes realizing that trees can grow at night, so they store all the stuff that they need when they need it. It's the reason why sometimes trees go like dry. It's stuff. It's not always because they're dried out. It's because all of the tree itself, basically, well, it's up to debate, basically, I guess, as far as human life goes, because, I mean, you can say that these trees never came from the earth or something like that, or they were never made from the earth, but, like, I mean, it's pretty hard to say. And that's a perfect allegory for what emotional stress can be like, okay, and emotional conduits, because it's something you can't control. It's something that grows on its own, and just because you're praising it and just because you're doing something with it, it doesn't mean that it will ever do anything that you want it to do. Okay? And when it goes south, and when it goes north, and when it goes east, and when it goes west, when you're going in the opposite direction, you can't find ways to try to connect yourself to it again, because you'll just have the idea and the memory of actually wanting that thing, and that can make you happy, because it really can. And even though people don't understand the reasons why, like, they say that there's so much to fear, and there's so many people out there to do things with and to have fun with, but you got to be careful, because some people want to hurt you. But they have to understand is those people are idiots, and they don't know the right from wrong. They try to know the right from wrong, and then they get it wrong, and then the first moment they're able to get out of it, they go back to it. And it's not like the mob, because the mob isn't something you go back to. You have to start from square one if you ever go to jail. Like, that's basically what happens in jail. You have to start back from square one. If you're in the mob, or if you were ever in the mob, and you're trying to get back into the mob and you went to jail, that means you said something in the mob to them. That means you start from square one. That's the reason why, like, in Casino, he gets all this shit taken, and all those other people get all their shit stolen or broken or blown up, or they go to jail and they realize that no, they weren't such big hot shots, and people inside try to say, we knew all along, when really they had no idea what was going on. Like, because people were actually trying to do stupid shit when they didn't understand that. Like, I don't want to tell anything personal about myself, so I'm just going to keep quiet about that, obviously. I'm not in the mob or anything, but, I mean, it's privacy, so. Alright. So, back to triggers, emotional triggers. What triggers people's emotions sometimes can trigger actions. And, because we ourselves make actions and stuff like that, we can by ourselves, we can actually, like, while we're doing things, we can actually make like the wrong things happen in life, and it can be very, very unuseful and ill-mannered, because, like, say for instance, I'm gonna do this job the rest of my life. If you do that job the rest of your life, if you do just that job the rest of your life, then you're going to get to carpal tunnel. You're going to get carpal tunnel, and you're going to need machines to help you.
You're getting robbed.
And making an emotional reflex is the same. Oh, he wants to haggle. Let's do this. I say 11-5. 11-5. 11-5? 13-5? Alright, he said 13-5. I hit him extra. Alright, cool. Alright. So these emotional triggers, or these emotional conduits, and what you like to call it, Oh yeah, I'm going to the military base. Don't worry. The tank's not roaming. The tank's not doing anything. The tank's not doing anything. The tank's not doing anything.
Suspect is crashed.
Tank's not doing anything.
Check 4, copy.
Tank's not doing anything. Tank's not doing anything. Tank's not doing. Oh my gosh, they have two of them. Yeah, nice. All right. It probably like randomized it on guard because I went into it the last time. I love this game. All right. Video game. I love this video game. All right. Seeing as how people don't understand sometimes that they need help and they want to do things themselves, or they want to say they can do things themselves when sometimes they really can't because they need to rest because they've been through a lot of work or a lot of hurt or a lot of unjustness, and they're either emotionally drained, physically drained, and sometimes it can mean the same thing. And also, I mean, emotional triggers, emotional conduits can make you think that you're the best in the world. It can make you think that you're the best in the universe, or that you're the best at anything. And sometimes that's also the world trying to help you, because I mean, people don't understand how much the earth tries to help people. Like, if you're hungry, then you can go hunt. If you're also hungry more than just meat, then you can eat berries and sometimes nuts and fruits and other things. But if you don't realize what actually makes that thing, if you don't realize that that thing actually makes more, then you'll understand the reasons why there are so many things that people don't understand about are themselves, the world, or anything else. And they really think that everything is some people really think that it's like the end of days, because I put a joke on Instagram about how on Instagram people would always try to jump at you, or like say I'm good, or say I'm awesome, or say something like that. Like you rarely find the people who actually just want to show you something really cool. Or like I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't seen cool stuff from people who are different from me, or I haven't seen cool stuff from like people who are trying to say something, but those cool people are still on my Instagram and the rest of them are blocked. No, that's not it. No. I've seen cool people from other parts of the world and other parts of the places that I've actually been to. Like, because I haven't left the United States of America, and I know that it may seem like I'm not like I'm not weathered or something like that, but because I mean I kind of don't want to say that I am wise beyond my years, but I joke about it constantly, so people think I am. I mean, and it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've seen it in people's eyes. And sometimes it's not working. Like, sometimes they don't know what's going on, and sometimes they need actual help from someone outside of a mental hospital, and it irks me so hard. It makes me so angry when people don't know what's going on. Yeah. I mean, you can get those things from people. You can tell people that it's going to be okay and still not know everything about them. You know, and I know there's no general thing you have to come up with. Yeah, there's no general thing. We're going to see if this guy wants to haggle. Oh, that guy got knocked out. He's just going to take his car. Alright. Doop, 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 doop. I shall leave you alive. Anyways, but when we think that that those triggers or those conduits or whatever we want to call them, because it really means nothing when you kind of think about it. It really doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't, because people don't understand what the people don't understand what happens to them when they think that something's gonna happen, and like say, like, it's like waves crashing, okay? You think that anyone was gonna have a complete coastline of a goddamn state, and then what? Yeah, you think anyone was gonna have a complete coastline of a goddamn state and not be affected by the goddamn waves of the water? That's literally where every earthquake has ever come from. So, all right, we're making it over the gosh darn fences. Got it. All right, I may just be a college/dropout.
Eagle 10 taken name. There's no escape.
But, my dad used to teach me a lot of stuff about things, and, he used to show me different books and different places and different things on the world, and
This is a no-fly zone. Divert your course.
There we go.
Dispatch, you have a location on suspect. Dispatch, this is Eagle 10. Suspect vehicle heading south.
Getting better and better at stealing that jet. From the naval base and stealing. Nope. Alright, I gotta pull up because I don't have any control. And we're gonna go down a country road. Relaxing. Oh my god. Relaxing country road. Relaxing country road. And that's the reason why we shouldn't listen to the voices inside of our heads sometimes. I mean, you don't have to act like, because when we get negative reinforcement, our brains take it in sometimes, and we think that people think that sometimes those negative reinforcements are things talking to them. But we have to understand that those things never did them any good or any bad. I mean, but it's the way that they reacted to them that actually made it bad. And if they did something stupid while they were doing it, oh my god, that was amazing. Then, what they should have realized is that it would have ended if they just would have gotten the confidence to be like, no voice, you can't tell me what to do. And it's like you are your own brain, okay? You're your brain. Your brain is yours. You don't need to tell anyone what to do or say anything or compartmentalize anything, but sometimes it helps to compartmentalize things if you don't want to let everything about yourself out, you know? And sometimes people want to do those things because they're afraid if anyone knows about themselves, or if anyone knows about how truly amazing they are, then they won't be able to see it. It's just, people get hung up on the fact that oh, I'm better than everyone else, or I'm awesomer than everyone else, and I'm going for underneath that bridge, and I'm probably gonna die because I need to get out of this thing. Oh, that was only the explosion that killed me. Only the explosion. Jeez. All right. Oh. All right. So when I think about what makes me mad or what makes me angry, I just farted. So that didn't make me angry. That made me very, very happy that I have working bowels. All right. I probably shouldn't have said that on everything, except people can't hear me, or people can't see me. They can hear me, but they can't see me, so they don't even know if it's me or not. No, it's like 12 different dudes. Yeah, no, it's not. Anyways, so
Get the fuck out of my way!
all right. that one kind of timed up with what we were trying to say. Is we're kind of like connected a little. No, we're not. No one is connected. Literally, no one is connected to each other. It's a figurative speech, meaning we all came from the same kind of burrow or the same kind of womb, whatever you want to call it. We were bacteria basically, and are pieces of bacteria, and then we were bacteria, and then we became different things because we wanted a different life for ourselves, because we knew we were growing up so quickly. And we wanted to attach ourselves to a certain kind of life to be able to emulate sort of an amazing thing that we found while we were looking at a whole bunch of stuff. And granted, we probably are the creations of so many some odd years of evolution, but also too, we could probably also just be not surrogates, but conduits. We could just be conduits for someone else's emotions, you know? Like just another thing that someone else can't control. Realize that some people put that on other people. And granted, this game is a perfect allegory also for the way people put their hurt down on people. And I don't think that there's going to be an accident because I make accidents in this game. I can make different boundaries in my life to be able to understand that yes, this game is completely and utterly just made of code. So anyone can change the settings. If they want to turn it to Armageddon mode, that would be pretty awesome. But they're not going to, so. So, it's pretty awesome to to think about therapy, because it can be so much more than just what people actually think it is. When it's so much more than what people actually thought it was going to be, because it is everything that pushes us. It's everything that allows us to be the people who we are, because it's us talking to ourselves, and basically that's what I'm doing to myself right now. I'm talking to myself and trying to work out different thoughts. So, and that's what emotional triggers can be. I could say they're conduits. I could say they're triggers. I can say they're pretty much anything, and it doesn't affect me either way, because I never really believed in it in the first place, because you don't believe in the thing itself. You believe in the person giving you therapy.
Come on, my dear.
And if they're not good at it, or if they're not with the right team, or maybe if they're just a weak link, then sometimes it matters to just let it go, and don't try to be a part of it again, you know? Or even if you are schizoaffective but you don't need medication for it, or you know how to control it well enough and good, because there are certain cases where people don't have to take medication, and sometimes I really believe that I'm one of those cases, and I really want to understand, or most of the time, pretty much all the time, I believe that I'm not supposed to be one of those cases, and that's the reason why I get to joke around so constantly. It's because I know that those parts and those thoughts in my mind are just things that I've understood so far, and I've tried to make sort of a good sort of reputation for myself as far as me liking therapy goes, but also too, I know that in some ways it's leaving New Orleans, and I don't want it to, because There's so many good people that could actually make it work. And because that's what I feel. I feel like people are giving up on therapy. I feel like people are giving up on themselves. And they're thinking that the end of the world is coming soon. I think we're on some like quantum dream. Like quantum was funny in the 70s. But if they ever came up with any equations for it, they probably lost their memories in a goddamn hurricane or something like that. I mean, I'm just saying, you know. And I'm also Joseph, so although I'm not the first Joseph, that's for the Bible, because he was the first Joseph. That's the truth. That is the gosh darndest truth. He's the first one to be cheated on by an angel. I don't know. I interpret the Bible so many different ways for me.
Lucky miss.
So, because there's so many ways you can actually interpret it. So it's not really based on fact. It's based on the fact that people believe in it, and it's based. Yeah, it's harsh. It's a harsh reality. It's a very harsh reality to believe that literally the person sitting right next to you could believe something in a completely different way, and you would have no idea because you're both you're reading the same goddamn words. So it's just it irks me. It makes me angry, and I've seen it in action. So don't trust me. Trust me, I've seen it in action. It's not convincing at all. It's like the priest is usually like trying to like make his voice really high, and then the altar boys are like, oh, when they know they just sound like little girls, which is really super lame. And yeah, in reality, priests smoke. All right. What? Yeah, in reality, priests smoke. The priests and the nuns, they all smoke. They don't give a shit about sex anymore. If you ever want to force your emotions, or your what's the word, or if just your parents really hated you, that's probably more what it is. It's probably not you forcing your emotions on people. It's more just people really didn't like you, and your parents like wanted to play constant jokes on you for some reason. So what people can understand too is there's a reason for the way that I do things, for the way that my sense of humor actually rolls about, and it's not because I stole something from someone else. It's not because I try to make something happen or anything like that. It's because I'm a person, and I know people. Yeah, so for anyone who tries to like say that I'm not like cool or anything, or I'm just dumb, or that I'm what's the word, a deviant, know that I only liked that art for a little while, because I realized that those were all like really old chicks, because that's the reason why they were like using them for models, because they thought that it would be funny to like draw old chicks as models, and then like give them like the like what's the word, they thought that, like, okay, if a girl works in an exotic strip club, she must be a deviant. No, she's probably really calm, and she enjoys her tea every once in a while. She probably enjoyed that, and then went home and probably maybe read some books, watched Netflix or something, you know, that sort of stuff. Yeah, that stuff. Usually women who go out and do all those things see people while they're sober doing stupid shit while they're drunk, and then realize, is that the way that I acted when I was drunk that one night? I'm never doing that again. But that's also a gateway drug to religion. So, and they're like, we don't all believe the same thing. Why would you ever think that? Because people are stupid, and they all say the same things in churches. All of them say the same things in churches.
This is U.S. Army airspace. Divert or we will take you down.
Divert this. We're gonna go this way. We're gonna go this way. Alright. I'm gonna see if we can go down a country road. Alright, let's see if we can go down a country road. Country road. Country road. Shit. Country road, where are you? So I can go down and then not land on you. Alright. Alright. Okay. See if we can actually do the right thing here. And go down this city road. Urban road. Urban road. Urban road.
I don't have a visual on the guy. There, sport. You do not have visual.
Urban road. Urban road. So yes, okay, about emotional triggers and about emotional conduits, because I should go into more detail about it, I guess. Well, about emotional conduits, like, people then think that those things can affect. I'm not talking to a broad audience, probably. I'm talking to more of like a if you need something, or if you're cool with something, or if you think that like, if you think that you're the only person that feels this stuff, or then like you're wrong. Because I mean, if I just reach one person, then I'm probably okay. So, and I'm gonna hit that blimp. I'm gonna hit that blimp, and no, I'm not gonna hit that blimp. I'm gonna go around it and be awesome. That's cool. Up top. Go. I'm gonna land. I'm gonna land on that. Damn it. How did I die before the freaking plane? Oh, that's right. I hit eject. Oh. No. Oh. All right. So now that we've established that jets are not to be messed with, we're gonna go down a country road, and we're gonna see how many hills we can jump.
Holy Jesus!
In a Cadillac ripoff. Let's do this. And I don't like that music. Yes, the same annoying music over and over and over again. The same annoying beats over and over and over again. The only thing that makes you used to your own reflexes. It's the only kind of music that can make you completely immune to whatever kind of emotion that you think that music gives you, because it's your own emotions. You can control them. You don't have to allow them to be a part of anything else, because that's the truth about emotions and emotional conduits. Because, I mean, you can also realize that sometimes those dudes that got tortured, those Taliban warlords and stuff like that were all in Guantanamo Bay. They were all like acting like they were like little young boys and stuff, and yeah, they were just emulating them. And they were like, dude, I'll make you like Toby Starr and stuff like that. Toby Starr. Yeah, it's like totally a star. Because they'll try to kill you because you'll be in the clouds, and then you'll go up, and then you'll be a spirit or whatever, sort of thing like that. That's what they believe in. And they think there's 47 virgins, or 41 virgins, because they don't get 47. You don't have to. So, what I think, what I believe is about emotional conduits is people can misunderstand or misinterpret things because they think that for some reason. Oh man, that would have been so awesome. God damn it. I lied. I didn't go to the country road. We have to go to the country road now. I know this is not where I leave you. This is not where I leave all of you 0 viewers that are watching. So, what we talk about every day also affects us in every single way we do it, because I'm not going to try to act like I'm some guru on it, but I've experienced it before, and that's valid. So, you know, it's good to have opinions from different people, especially people who aren't doctors, because you'll know how much they actually know. So,
Hey man, come on, fam.
and I'm not saying, no, I'm not. You know how much actually the people who aren't doctors know, because you'll be able to take that and go along on your own journey, and try to be able to make yourself a better person. And people can understand certain things in a certain way, but what I mean is you should never make yourself so hard to get to, or to be emotionally even shaken by, to be ever like to ever misinterpret something, you know. To ever misinterpret people who think that they're but also too, you should never like immediately trust someone on their word, and you shouldn't trust me on my word, because it could be a different way altogether. All right, we're gonna act like we're gonna steal that guy's car for being such a douchebag and laying right there. All right. Does he want to haggle? Does he want to haggle? He does not want to haggle. That door came off anyways. This is a cheap piece of crap. All right. All right. So, what else we're going to come up with is the reality of... Oh, I just hit that thing. So I'll jump. I wanted to jump it. Tried to jump it. It didn't work. Don't worry, I only have blood on my car. Alright. Alright. Yes, we did it. And now that we celebrate, we'll jump out of the car. Yes, awesome. Go ahead out of it. So, when thinking about emotional triggers or emotional conduits, because there are things we put importance on that control our emotions, because those would trigger that. We trigger it ourselves by listening to it constantly. We trigger it ourselves basically, and that was a good example of what I actually said, because we trigger things by constantly doing something, and it can literally make our... Because do you think you could get carpal tunnel syndrome? Because you can get carpal tunnel syndrome, and you can get it of the mind as well. So it's really hard for people to like to interpret something a certain way and then interpret it a different way once they've gotten started. The realization is that the world tries to act like, or the world or the people in it try to act like they're better than you because they can switch from one goddamn thing to another so quickly. But understandably so, they've probably had a lot more practice than pretty much anyone, and they are basically showing everyone their moves. So that's the stupidest part of anyone who ever tries to show off or tell them that they're not good enough or they're better than anyone, or basically underestimating your enemy. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't underestimate your enemy, because you shouldn't give your enemy emotional control over you, because thinking that they have a plan is the worst part of anything. Thinking that they have a plan at all, because technically speaking, there is no plan, alright? If you're going up against someone toe to toe, and not exactly in a match or anything like that, or anything, but more like you're playing chess with somebody, or you're playing what's the word? You're playing like a good game of like kickball, okay, kickball, or not kickball, but like baseball or something like that, or anything, and you're trying to make it to where you can see something coming before you see it. So, okay, and that's something that's very, very hard to master. You can see where he threw the ball, but you can't judge the distance without experience. Okay? Or judge the speed without the experience.
This car's gonna be
That's the reason why people who are good at baseball are usually older. So, but also the reasons why people are actually good at baseball that are actually older is because they're boring as fuck. So they're boring, they don't do things, they want to know what to do, because literally all they've done is do baseball. So all they've done is play baseball. So, I mean, I'm not saying that it's hard or anything to learn or master, but it's definitely hard to actually go up against someone else and then master against someone else every single time. Because even if you're trained and up there with them, which I'm never going to be, because baseball sucks, because I don't like baseball. I just like their hats because they're really cool, and I like the jerseys because they're really awesome. And I like what's the word? Okay fitting jerseys, not like big old jerseys. Like I got it when I was 2 or something like that. Really lame. So, and not to say that those dudes are like, oh my god, they're like, do you know that they were like waiting on those jerseys for a really long time, and they said they'd fill out those jerseys because they didn't know their size when they were 2. So alright, good. Alright. So but when people try to say things like I mean, I know that it's good for the economy. I really do, and I know that people like to get drunk there or something like that, or they call an Uber, or they do something cool, and they're like, oh dude, this is an experience we can actually share together, and we can yell at them, because that's what they freaking do. I don't know, if I wanted to hear people yelling, I'd just play video games and yell at the screen, because I'm not actually hurting anyone's feelings. Because yes, those dudes don't like it when people yell at them all the time. They don't like their fans sometimes, because, yeah, they suck sometimes. And sometimes people can, like, really get on their nerves. But it's not like they take it to heart. They don't. They don't take it to heart because they know that people have emotions that they need to let out. And they allow that. So, I mean... I mean, they're not gonna like let you scream obscenities right next to a small child or anything like that, but they're gonna like they'll be like, dude, you need to move from the small child if you're gonna scream obscenities. But when you actually like but when you actually like realize that sometimes sometimes those things can really, really affect you. Like, sometimes you realize those emotional bonds that you make can really affect you for the good. Then you realize that you had therapy. Like therapy can be literally anything, and it can be literally anything, because it can just be a new experience that people actually share. And no, it doesn't have to be an expensive one, like on Dan Aykroyd and all those other stupid 80s movies, because they didn't make any goddamn sense. You just brought into the goddamn thing and then show them any freaking examples about therapy. There was a dumb movie about therapy. It's like, oh, an escaped convict was from jail, and then he didn't like his jailer therapist, so he escaped from a mental hospital and was completely confident to be able to take care of an entire yeah, it's like it. Oh my god. The ground came up so fast. Jeez. Alright. I just found out my friend needs glasses, but he likes Star Wars, so that's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. But I will never do art with him because he scares me sometimes. And he's not gonna be my boss. And no, not like the murderous scares me. He yells a lot because he needs to take medication, and he's emotionally distraught because of the way that he was not treated as a child, but thought of as a child. Because he used to come up with dirty jokes all the time. And, oh, there's triggers right there. There's another trigger right there. That's like, I mean, he come up with like weird, emotionally distraught jokes and stuff like that, and not realize that everyone else was trying to be serious, because the rest of them were trying to be serious, and he was trying to be the jokester, even though he had a degree in a bachelor's in history. Unfortunately, he didn't do acid, and he affected one of his friends by making them all take acid, and then that's one of the things that people... Failures. There we go. I'll go with failures, because failures can, like... Failures can affect you in certain ways, and not realizing that those failures actually taught you so much, or even that those failures weren't even the failures you actually thought they were. Because the person actually on the other end of the failure, or the person that's actually looking at you through the failure, was like, wow, I mean, it's like he didn't even do that, you know? He didn't even do it like he thinks he did. Because I saw him do something different, you know? And people may act like they know what your life is about, because therapists like to delve into people's lives and act like, oh, you're just a youngin', or oh, you're just a youngin', just to see where you'll go with it, because that's what therapists do. They get on people's nerves, but they shouldn't, because they're supposed to be therapists, not bullies. And they can act like other people are going through certain things, and other people are trying to do different things, and they have to go through them or through their emotions in order to do those things. But that's not the correct way to do therapy. It's not the correct way to actually have therapy. And sometimes people need to understand that there was never a way to make pamphlets good for therapy. And I think that's what's happening in New Orleans right now. For me, that's probably the reason why people aren't getting the health care they actually really want. It had nothing to do with like the way that they were getting at their insurance companies. It just had to do with the fact that there weren't any really fun things to do, and fun ways to do them. So they can act like they're gonna make me an art teacher all they freaking want to, but I don't want to deal with this little bullshit. They fucking do shit with their art and call it good. Because I made some pretty stupid freaking artwork. I made a dog out of wire. What the hell is that gonna sell for? I made a dog out of wire. I literally tried to make a dog out of wire, like, because I mean it was just a practice run. Everything was just a practice run in that sense. But also too, I made a dog out of wire. Like I just like oh, I'm gonna use this little carrying case to hold my dog. And so, I mean, it was the shape of a dog. It was funny as shit, and it was stupid. I thought it was hilarious, but it's not really like it's not really art. And I mean, I'm not insulting myself, but I could have done a lot better. You know, I could have done so much better. But all right, we're gonna use our grenade launcher. Okay, we're gonna use our grenade. All right, we're gonna use that cover. Hopefully there's some tanks around. You son of a bitch! You shot me in the kidney. And that's what Mexican governments do. They shoot you in the kidney. I'm such an asshole. All right. It's not Mexican governments, it's Mexican cartels. So, they shoot you in the kidney. And I was a kid, and I got my knee broke. So, and also too, emotional conduits can start to make us not trust humanity, and there's no reason to do that. There's people in place, and there's people that do things for a certain reason. If they ever get bad at it, they get fired or they retire because they're not as good as they once were. If they ever worked for the state, or if they worked for an entire country or something like that, then they're usually extremely knowledgeable about the subject. So, I mean, I like to question them because it's funny. I like to question people because it's funny, because it makes them laugh. It's hilarious because they know they're good at the job. But understandably so, I'm good at my job too, which is getting on their nerves. But I sometimes want to debate about what the actual meaning of therapy really is, and the philosophies behind it. Because a lot of Sigmund Freud's work was completely biased. A lot of whatever philosophies other people came up with were all biased and completely subjective. Because when you're subjected to those certain types of things, like Schrodinger's cat, it's okay. Is it alive and also dead? No, it's not alive and also dead. What? It's not alive and also dead. It's stupid. It probably made cats want to kill people. It probably is the reason why cats scratch people in the eyes. It's the only reason why cats scratch people in the eyes. It's because they still accept those stupid freaking scientific dumb things. So, I mean, they still accept those, oh, what's Schrodinger's cat? I watched Rick and Morty and I liked it. No, you didn't. You didn't even know what it was about. So wax. Yeah, it's the only station that doesn't piss me off, because they talk about like random things that happen in California, but also in the same sense that there was so much more that happened in California and the radio was just talking over it. And this is also the allegory for what happened in California, because people were drunk as fuck sometimes, just driving like maniacs and assholes, and not realizing that they needed a breathalyzer car after that, and they lost all their money trying to buy a breathalyzer car, not realizing that in some instances, if the breathalyzer car is too dry, what? If it's too dry, then it will shut down automatically with high heat, and sometimes those sensors take heat and indications as alcohol. What? Yeah. Some instances when they had those indicators for like alcohol and stuff like that. Yes, that's very true. They signified heat. So if your breath was hotter than normal that day, or if you were hot while you were walking into your car when you were sober as shit, it would completely off-read and fail. And I believe that some people think that they can take responsibility for it, but they can't have anything that's something, and like literally, okay, alcohol is an alcohol. So, alright, say for instance, you work at a hospital, alright, you deal with waste all the time, or you deal with anything all the time. You have to constantly wash your hands with hand sanitizer. What? Yeah, you have to constantly wash your hands with hand sanitizer. And you got a DUI like maybe a year ago, and you're waiting for it to go off. So, you breathe into it, and it takes the alcohol from your breath that you got into your hands, because you might have washed your hands and then washed your face or something like that at some point. People use hand sanitizer a lot, and especially in hospitals, and they should understand that that's the reason probably why that alcohol is probably what's then. And this is I went to the break because I had to ask my cigarette. Alright, see. And this isn't, people say that this is, that I'm not like family friendly. And or not people say, but like, I guess that some would say, like my mom would say that I'm not family friendly. Yeah, because I've heard her. What she says about me. She worries about me a lot, so she comes up with little things in her head, stuff like that, about me, that she worries about, like, will I get a job? Will I ever work or something like that? And to those questions, I say, wait, Mom, okay? Calm down. Get help. I love you, Mom. So what people have to understand is I'm completely fine. Okay, I'm completely fine, okay? No. So, alright, it's 1:28. We're going to wait until 1:30 before we end this. So, I'm doing this completely for myself. There's no one watching. I am alone in this room. Alright. So now, people have to understand that I'm alone in this room. And I'm alone in this room. So, once you realize that those triggers can affect you once you don't stop putting importance on them, you'll also realize that eventually people will understand and see you putting triggers on that, and they don't project their feelings onto you. It's just you have nervousness about and embarrassment about what you put importance on, thinking that something was a good thing for you. And I know that like people think that they think they can control people's emotions, or they think no, but they just make weird faces, and like it's really dumb. It's the stupidest thing ever. People can make weird faces and just or say different things or something like that, and they get really sad because they're in pain because someone's pulling their nose hairs or something like that. And I mean, they'll understand that your nose hairs grow back, alright? And sometimes, like, if you tense certain muscles inside your nose, you don't feel the pain. So there's that. There's other parts of like inside your nose, and stuff like that, is like we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about parts of the body later. I guess I'm going over an hour and 30. So, start talking about other parts of the body, and talking about emotional conduits and how they can affect each other and make reflexes that you wouldn't normally have, because I mean, like, people don't want to associate yourself with yourself sometimes, and people, okay, what I'm trying to say is, people don't want to associate themselves with everyone all the time, okay? I'm just really tired, and alright, I'm being really quiet right now, but we're going to talk about what's the word, emotional conduits, and how they create reflexes that are very, very stupid. So, think about this. I've seen so many stupid people, like a woman who had too many laxatives that day, or she had butt sex during Mardi Gras, and she didn't realize it would affect her. Like, okay, say for instance seasonal reflexes. Okay, seasonal reflexes. When a certain temperature is a certain way, your muscles can relax. So, seasonal reflexes. A woman may have had butt sex one Mardi Gras and not realizing that that same amount of what's the word? That same temperature and that same room and that same place can actually create a reflex. Because yes, if people believe in it enough, or believe that it was good, or believe that it was bad, or believe that it was terrible and it ruined their digestive system, then they can understand that those things create reflexes too. Like sex itself, like if you do missionary all the goddamn time, then you're not going to be able to make any other positions without actually adjusting your muscles. What? Adjusting your muscles, okay? Adjusting your muscle reflexes. That's what I actually mean. Adjusting your muscle reflexes. So trying to go through another thing and trying to do it the same way you did it, it's really, really hard to do it. It's extremely hard. It's so hard to do. I've tried it with so many women, and it's really hard to do. And also, sometimes it actually throws the experience of actually doing anything, because your girl was about to just totally do it all over you, and then she was like, man, dang it, she could totally not do it now. But sometimes women do it, and they'll realize that that they'll never be able to connect themselves to anyone, because women like that are stupid. Women like that want to like constantly watch you from all the way around to see if you like made it or something, or that you're still hooked onto them. Like, seriously, dude, I'm over a woman like literally a month afterwards. I'm just trying to get the reflexes out some way to like not treat the woman the same way as I treated another woman. And I actually did it. Like I did it. It sucks, man. It sucks so much that I literally got into another half-ass relationship to think that those would actually affect me in a good way. I have not had a girlfriend in 2 years, not because of me expecting to hurt someone, but because I want to invest in it. You know, I want to invest in a relationship, and I want it to be a good thing for me, and I don't want it to be like some sort of like Just, oh, I'm just coming by to have sex with you every once in a while, and then I'll make my decision whether or not I want to make you my mate. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Is this a competition or some shit? Because if it is, then I'm out, you know? Like, I'm completely out. There's no goddamn way. I'm not gonna... there's no competition into me when it comes to love. Because you may think that you know a person by the way that you see them sometimes. You may think you know a person by the way that they look they look in the mirror, or they look at all. But know that those things can change. Know that people can change. And people can understand that yes, they can change when they want to. Because
lucky miss.
Because when people are actually invested in something, when people are actually positive about something, they start to see themselves in a new light. They start to see themselves without all the bullshit and without all the people, and realize that their smile is fucking awesome. So every single time that you think that you're missing something, or you're out of something, or you're done with someone, just remember that you had experiences with that person, and some of them were good, some of them may have been bad, but understand that most of them were experiences. And that's what I try to experience every single day. I don't try to act like something didn't happen. I don't try to act like something never happened. I just sometimes try to make a clean break. You know, a clean breakup. Like a clean, like, you don't like me anymore, you don't want me anymore, you went with somebody else. You know you went with somebody else. I saw you. So, and I felt it. I felt it in my heart, you know? You never had to tell me your heart was with someone else. Your heart was for someone else. And it wasn't ever going to be for me. You always wanted to be around women more than you wanted to be around me. And maybe that means something about you. And I'm talking directly to someone, but I'm never going to divulge their name. Well, let's call her, let's call her, Elizabeth Taylor. That's what it is. Elizabeth Taylor. And so Elizabeth Taylor is never going to be enough for me, because the perfume smells like garbage. Anyways. Shit.
Blind piece of shit.
She figured out a way to put makeup smell in a goddamn bottle. Oh my god, she's so talented. That Elizabeth Taylor. It smells like old people makeup. Shit. Is that a goddamn joke or something? Expect people to actually buy that all the time? Mary Kay is amazing. It's makeup flavor, remember that. Because you can smell it in, and it doesn't actually do anything to your lungs. That's right. It's just a perfume. All right, we're gonna keep going and talk about how mental emotional, what's the word? There we go. We just freaking stopped all tight and badass like. That 22 airplane looks so awesome. But we realized that it's not a full 22 airplane. It's a makeshift we put together. So we fly it steadfast, strong. try to
You are
avoid
in
all
the 4
these.
Zancudo no-fly zone. Divert or you will be shot down.
Oh, Osama bin Laden wanted to do.
Anyone have a visual?
Just want to break into a military base.
This is Chopper 5. He's east.
Through a jet. No, he didn't. It was way worse fun than that, probably. Because it probably involves some punishment as well, chemical warfare. Because, yes, that's good. A lot of people have been using it so far. So you want to ask people to leave certain areas, stuff like that, you know. Things like that, you know, all that stuff.
Wheels up and en route.
Yep. I hate people again. Alright. And we're gonna do a stupid dodge. Dang it. I just missed that dude. I'm a lifesaver.
That's last seen east of, the main bank.
Oh. So that's where all the earthquakes came from.
What the? Oh, fuck! Oh, move, buddy!
The only thing that's a constant is change. Yeah, cool, awesome. Don't throw coins at me, dumb motherfuckers. Yeah.
I just waxed this puppy!
Holy shoots and ladders.
Oh, shit! I'm making a personal injury claim!
These are the kind of music, this one beat, so this one key can kind of make you think that like there's a malaise in something, or like, oh my god, this music again, it's so terrible. But it actually causes migraines and headaches sometimes because of what the people actually do to themselves, trying to get away from it, or like trying to say that like, oh my god, this is so annoying, or something like that, like, and say something is annoying. And sometimes actually people put words onto what slang terms actually mean, or like they make slang terms for what words actually do mean and say. Like, okay, we're gonna jump this ramp. Oh, dang it. Stupid car. We weren't able to. It's alright. We're going back right now. But also realizing that the beats and the notes don't matter. The more you try to look at it, like, think of it like a magic trick. Okay? That's all it is deception. Alright? If magic doesn't exist, then all it is deception. Obviously. So, we're gonna go to the precipice and then we're gonna jump out. I almost got onto that freaking thing. That would have been so cool. Like a second later, that would have been so cool. Alright, cool. Alright. But also understand that through therapy, it doesn't matter what you do, you know? It matters what you do with yourself. It matters how you do with yourself and how positively reinforced you are. Because if you're negatively reinforced all over your life, there's nothing good's gonna come out of it, because people are just gonna treat you like shit still. You have to come out with something new. You have to come up with something new. You have to come up with something better, and including myself, because people have probably tried to hear this all over everything, and what they don't understand is the more you try to do things for yourself, the more the world tries to help you, because it realizes you're independence.
That was close.
It realizes what you're trying to become. But the world is always going to try to kick you off. The world is always going to try to help you get to where you want to go. If the world is not where
Capitol
you want
Boulevard
to be.
in Strawberry.
There's literally no one understands that they could just try better.
Suspect doing 50 miles per hour on Vespucci
They could
Boulevard.
just try more, and they don't understand that there's more to life than just sticking around. There's more to life than just saying, hey, I'm here for you in case you need me, or I'm here for you in case you want me around. And it's like if you're just waiting until I want you around, or if you're just waiting until you can like say that you want me around, or say that I want you around, then what are you there for? You know? I'm not saying that there's like a plan to everyone or anything, but shouldn't okay.
Suspect last seen on Decker Street.
Shouldn't we have made one already? Like a master plan, like a freaking way that things are supposed to go in society, or things like that. Like anyone know that you can't like go around hurting people because of their opinions? I mean, does anyone understand that? Because literally those were crimes. Like, those people went to jail, like literally right afterwards. All those people that were instigating all those fights, it's called instigating a riot. That's what it's called. It's called instigating a riot. Those kids that were like, hey, guess you're fucked over, something like that. Like, no, that's not bullying. It's called instigating. When you're an adult, it's called instigating. Because bullying is when kids do it, all right? When kids are like, I don't like you either, it's because of this reason, I'm making it up right now. Instigating is when you do that as an adult. Do that exact same thing as an adult. Bullying isn't when you're an adult. Instigating is when you're completely adult-like and you think that you're immune from the law because you're not punching anyone in the face directly. It's stupid, it's dumb, and it's idiotic. And those things can cause any sort of kind of reaction or reflex, or even a hidden phrase that sometimes people even get to within their own minds by meditating, because they just saved it for a certain occasion. Like, oh hey, tell Sally that she should stop trying to blame her fish for making pot pies and then throwing them on the ceiling. You know, that kind of thing. You know, that stuff. Or not, like, that stuff. Like, yeah, tell Benedict Cumberbatch that he's a really good actor, and I hope he does well in the next Thor edition. Oh yeah, and like, it's all mildly sarcastic, or it's mildly something, because it sounds like I'm not actually saying the word, but it actually means something else. Because, oh yeah, and also it could be the fact that he's probably just really, really sunburnt, or he's really, really just dumbass and retarded, and he just can't say words. But that example is completely unbeknownst to anyone else. I can say words completely separate from whatever anyone else is actually doing. Alright? I didn't damage my brain or anything like that. I may have gotten like sunburn every once in a while, but I didn't damage my brain because of it. Like, oh, I may have damaged my upper spine because of a lot of football. I not really damaged it, but like affected it in a certain way because I crack my bones constantly, and it is a hectic thing when you crack them bones. Damn bones. A little soup of damn bones. Do you like damn bones? Yeah, I love broth. It's really delicious. I think because I like chicken bones. I like, what's the word, beef bones. I like, pig's feet, pig's bones. I like cow spine. Some freaking, oh, cause that's how you get the frothy freaking, oh my god. I got marrow stew, oh my gosh. It's freaking awesome. So good, and it's good for you. Alright. Jesus! I'm getting off topic. There's so many good things for you out there, and there's so many good soups and gumbos and a whole bunch of different stuff. I'm New Orleans, so I kind of prefer gumbo a little bit or more than soup because just the way I am, you know. I like things to stick, not stick, but like help my digestive tract and not just like be all watery and stuff. Because watery can help, but thick can like push things because it just pushes things along, you know, that kind of stuff. But also, there's also vitamins in it too. So, there's things like that. You can realize that food is delicious and awesome for you. And so there's always something to feel happy about, you know? There's always something to feel good about because, you know, there's always a next meal. And eventually it will be the last meal, and then you'll either be, what's the word, no, there's not going to be a last meal. It's fine. It's stupid. The Last Supper. Oh, is that what it was? It was called, oh, it means we have to bring all of our stuff and show it to the government. And then we have to be put to death for almost killing a lot of people because we just got a lot of dead bodies together and started sewing all their parts on people's faces. God damn it. That's what Zombie Jesus did. Alright, thanks everyone. Have a good day. I'm gonna understand a lot of things now. Alright, see y'all later.